Hello. Today, I have a special request for you. I have a request that I ask that you set aside your religion, your beliefs, your opinions, any negativity that you might have come in. Let's come together as friends, brothers, and sisters. I want to speak of a man who was courageous, selfless, a man who faced injustice, a man who presented to the world the most prestige act of kindness and love known to mankind. He was a superhero of superheroes. Anything he would do for anybody in need. His love outclassed anyone in our history books. He was a role model, a friend, a leader, a counselor, perhaps even a God. Bringing healing to the sick physically, morally. He fed the hungry. He loved endlessly with no strings attached. He was a peacemaker. He was a man who pursued relationship. You must be asking yourself, who is this noble man that I speak of? This man, his name was Jesus. For those of you that don't know who Jesus is a man in the Christian faith. He was a man that was crucified on a cross to bring restoration to humanity and relationship back in good standing to the creator of all things. He was the living sacrifice for the evilness of this world. Today, we will see the cross as a symbol of relational value through three areas: forgiveness, love, and grace. A solution to relationships in our lives that will bring about unity and peace in a problematic world. Point number one, symbols in relation to our cognitive. We see symbols or logos that are associated with religion, people, culture, events in our world today. In fact, how about the professional sports? We have the logo of NFL or MLB or NHL or NBA, which with NBA I automatically think of number 23. And no, it's not LeBron James, it's Michael Jordan. But that's for a different discussion. In religion, we can see symbols such as the crescent moon with the star in association with Islam, Hinduism, the Om, or the swastika, which was hijacked from the Nazis in Hitler's reign. But that swastika's meaning was of good fortune, or the wheel of Dharma by the Buddhists. An interesting article in the Boston College Review written in 2014 by Claudia Hopp titled Active Symbols says cognitive neuroscience research shows that images are by no means less able to communicate messages than text. Indeed, visual representations in some instances may have a greater impact on the audience than spoken or written words. Visual representations of religious symbols can be just as active as, if not, in fact, sometimes more active than the written or spoken textual religious messages. They are eponymously active symbols. Eponymously. I'm going to be honest with you. I had to look up that word. It means to strongly relate to something. I see crosses on jewelry. I see crosses in telephone poles. In fact, I see crosses on every church that seems to be on every corner of every street. We could activate this symbol within our minds and associate it in three areas of relationship. For those of you that were sleeping in my introduction, I'll recap it for you. Those three areas that I spoke of were forgiveness, love, and grace. I could assure you, we could make an impact individually in our world towards peace and unity and our relationships will grow exponentially. Point number 2, forgiveness. Relationships. Relationships are hard. We're going to have ups and downs. We're going to have trials and tribulations. Some will be toxic. Some we will want to last forever. Anticipate that forgiveness, because it's an action that we will face at some point in our relationships. Our relationships are defined by our environment, our upbringing, our parents, our peers, and technology. An article in the Journal of Social and Legal Studies titled Forgiveness and Apologies in Human Relationships, writer Simon Ifademi states, "The world is continuously changing, and so children are also changing because they are living in this new environment. Specialists notice that babies tend to develop accordingly with the environment into what they are growing up in. So they are using technology and, in consequence, developing skills faster and prematurely." I want to point out today that we see in social media, this technology that they speak of, that the social media continues to fan the fire, so to speak, with COVID-19 and racism, big topics of today. These platforms are preaching division, not unity. Could forgiveness be the answer? Starting with our parents and generations before, to teach about forgiveness and what it truly means to forgive. Demolishing this inbred hate that is passed down from generation to generation. How does the cross relate to this? When Jesus, the man that we have spoke of, died on the cross, betrayed by everybody that he loved, friends, family, enemies, betrayed by the whole world, murdered in his innocence. His last words were, "Father, forgive them, for they know what they have not done." Excuse me. Let that resonate with us. His last request of forgiveness of his murderers. Which takes me to my point number 3, love. This speaks volume for love Jesus had for those who wrongly accused him. Love was displayed on that cross. Sometimes when we are pushed to love, when we have been wronged or hurt, can be the greatest test of our integrity and character. James Baldwin suggests love takes off masks that we cannot live without, and no, we can't live within. Love at times calls us to be bigger than our situation. Martin Luther King Jr. puts it like this: "I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great to bear." It was love that was represented on that cross. For this man, Jesus, to bear all the sins and the evilness of this world. Without forgiveness and love, we cannot have grace. Point number 4, grace. Grace is that judgment that we deserve for the wrong that we have done, but someone else pays the price. We are all flawed in some way. We all have differences that makes us unique. We place expectations on people to view the world from our lens, and placing standards on them to expect people and accept under our terms. This is why grace is so important. People will not meet our expectations, and they will fall short of our requests. But the beauty of it is that we can grant them grace. It was the cross that showed grace. Someone paid the price for the wrong of all. When I put into perspective the forgiveness and love that I have received, I am able, therefore, to give grace. As we close today, I want you to know this: that this was not an attempt to convert you to Christianity, but I came here today to simply speak of love, to teach you 3 principles that we can embrace and be reminded of just by seeing the cross. Seeing the cross as a catalyst to perpetuate me into bringing peace and unity into my relationships with others. Doing my part to bring healing to a world that is full of hurt and evilness. The cross dismantles the eye for an eye mentality by relinquishing forgiveness. Rattles the world with an unshakable love. serving people with an abundance of grace that we may share with others. This, my friends, is that hand-me-down recipe from generation to generation so chaos can come to rest and the restoration of the world can begin to rise as the yeast waiting to be baked, eliminating the infirmities that we all face. The cross signifies a recipe for peace, healing, so that we all can come together at the table and feast on the goodness of God. Thank you.